Hello, everybody. I'm so excited today, and I'm very, very grateful that Alex, who is mad busy, Alex, but you've joined us just to share a little bit of your insights, your story. And what I love about this interview is Alex has just said, let's just go for it, Lena. You ask me a few questions. I'm going to see what kind of answers. And I love people like that. So, Alex, tell us a little bit, first of all, about you, who you are, and why you're here.
Cool. So I'm Alex. I'm the innovation director at Dentsu. Dentsu is a advertising agency. I live in London. I lived here for about 10 years, married, and I love all new creative tech, whether it's gaming at the moment. We've seen gaming kind of become a big thing in the past kind of 2 or 3 years, or whether it's AI and the move towards generative AI. So my job is to understand these technologies and tools and then translate them into what they mean for our clients. So that's me.
Brilliant. Big job, Alex.
Big job. Spinning lots of plates, and big part of my job is to work out where best to spend my time to generate the most for our clients and the most for the business.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my focus.
Well, thank you so much for,
Pleasure.
thinking about us in terms of, because business is trying to navigate that. And I think what happens a lot in education is we sit in our little silo and we think we have to work it all out. So we're really delighted where we're able in this travel guide, and that's what we're calling it, just to be able to share some of our experiences and insights. So we thought of a few questions, and we're gonna go with a big one, but start with it. Start
Do
with
it.
a big question in a small, concise part. And the question is, I'm looking down at my notes here, Alex, but if you could offer one piece of advice to educators about incorporating Gen AI into their creative learning environments, what would it be? What would you?
Um, it would be talk less about how these tools are going to change things and how they can be used, and get students using them.
Brilliant.
Because a lot of the time I see there's a lot of talk about it, but until you actually start playing around with these tools, you don't really understand the power. And students like to play, right?
Yeah.
So I think about how you can include these tools into your learning agenda, I guess, and make them kind of part of that. I think that's really interesting. I think one of the things that we've seen the past couple of years is the decentralization of technology. And what I mean by that is anyone can now create an NFT collection, or anyone now can create beautiful kind of visual assets through these generative AI tools, right? So it's seen this decentralization of tech, which is great for, generally speaking, young people who are more inquisitive than older people to understand or use these technologies to do what they want, right? So I think that would be my advice. Don't talk about the tools. Give the students the tools to play with and incorporate that into your learning. That I think that'd be quite powerful.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, I mean, what do you think are some of the challenges or limitations, that you've encountered, because if we say go play,
Yeah.
we've got to also talk about what's the fear or the challenges, I suppose, within that experience.
Yeah, so I guess the overarching fear is, will AI take people's jobs?
Mm.
And the honest answer to that is yes. Now, how many is up for debate, right? That's the overarching fear. Um, I'm a firm believer that I'm in the positive camp. I think we need to embrace change. Like, you look through history, and those who embrace change progress, and those that don't eventually embrace it at some point, right? Um, so that's the overarching challenge. I think as well. I think from a student's perspective, it's difficult to understand when they come into the workplace what types of skills that they will need and what types of jobs will be available, because these tools are moving so quickly, right? And one day they can do X, the next day they can do X plus Y. So that's the job of educators, right? In terms of trying to help students understand in the new workplace or in the future workplace, what are the not types of roles, but types of skills they would need to succeed, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then more broadly, some of the limitations around these tools in terms of, often you don't, you get one answer. So let's say you use ChatGPT, you get one answer, And that's great because we all have choice paralysis and we all want one answer. We don't want to look at the menu when you're in a restaurant of 10,000 things. We don't want to go through Netflix and scroll for hours to find something, right? But at the same time, there is a concern around the fact that if you get one answer, you'll be funneled down a particular path, similar to the kind of what we see in platforms, social media platforms, right? In terms of you like something, you get served the same thing, and eventually you get funneled down to this particular point, and that particular point might not be a point that gets productive in society. So, long story short, I think AI will replace some jobs. I think if understanding what skills you need in this new future is confusing. I think educators play a role in that respect. And the last one is obviously on the output of these tools. How can it can be, I wouldn't say biased, but it can lead people down the garden path into places that perhaps aren't beneficial for them or society.
Brilliant. And Alex, looking at what makes us uniquely human, and many of the teachers who we work with, we know that we're promoting creative thinking, and we talk about that, the messiness, your thumbprint in this experience. Where do you see that in this AI landscape?
Yeah, and I think so. I'm on the side of the machines on this one.
Right.
So and this is something that I think about quite a lot, and this is a point of view. It's not something that have much scientific facts to back up. I think we as humans think we're more advanced and complex than we actually are, and I think that in time, a machine will be able to model the way in which we react. We're very predictable. Human beings are very predictable,
Yeah.
right? Like you just look at things like when COVID hit, we all went and bought toilet paper, right? Like we're very predictable. We behave irrationally. If you're a computer, you can model how we behave. Now, if a computer can model how we behave, it can model how we think, and therefore it can model how we're creative. And I had a conversation with Creative Director the other day, and he's like, AI never replaced human serendipity. And I'm like, I don't I don't disagree with that, but I don't agree with it either, right? Because if you're creative, the ideas that are generated are the sum of your experiences and the sum of the inputs that are received by your brain. Now, your brain can't receive a fraction of the inputs that an AI model can, right? And the AI again is a sum of all experiences in the world.
Yeah.
So I think the notion of creative thinking and the serendipity around creativity, I think longer term will be challenged by these models. And I'm really interested to see where that goes, right? You look at something like chess. Now, I know chess is formulaic in terms of there's only a certain number of moves, but an AI can be a grandmaster in chess, right? I think we will get to a point potentially where you could have an AI do as good a job as a creative director potentially. Now, will it do as good a job as the rock star creative leads in our industry? Maybe not. But I don't think there's a upward ceiling for this. I think all I'm saying is that we shouldn't dismiss it in terms of AI can't replace humans or AI can't replace the way which we think or feel, because I think eventually it probably will be able to.
Wow.
Very long-winded answer. I do
Oh
apologize.
no, but yeah, a sparky challenge, and I think it is a debate, and that landscape, as we say, is scary and exciting, and what's great, Alex, you picked that up from you. I'm excited about it, but also what you're saying is somewhat scary too.
Yeah, it is. It's. I wouldn't say scary. I would say it's inevitable, and it's once you get your head around that, then you're either you're either on the train, on the boat, on the bus. I don't know what the expression is, or you're not. So I think and don't be wrong, like there's a lot of limitations, and this is going to take a long time to kind of industrialize in a way in which it really impacts our day to day. But ultimately, I think like, the notion of work will be called into question. And if you really think of like humans' evolution, probably the next step in evolution is to move to a society where we don't work as much.
Mm.
And AI kind of allows us to do that. It also allows us to be more productive. And if you look at why the UK economy isn't growing, there is one reason alone, and that's productivity. Since the financial crisis in 2008, productivity is flatlined, and we need to be more productive for economic growth. So for me, what's exciting is how these AI tools can help us be more productive and therefore boost economic growth and raise the ceiling for as many people as possible. So there are AI has a lot of social considerations that will play out in the next kind of 5, 10 years and longer. And for me, that's quite an exciting puzzle because you're bringing, tech, society, people, all this stuff together into one thing. But it is scary for some people. I don't see it as scary. I see it as an opportunity. And if I was a student, I would be seeing it as an opportunity to go, if I can, where do I fit into this? And if I think about this in the right way and slot myself in somewhere unique, I could have a fantastic career in the future. That's the word. I'd be saying that way. Glass half full, not half empty. Let's put that way.
Yeah, I love that. I love the puzzle, and lovely. You'd think we almost planned this, Alex, because a nice segue into the final question. You're 14, back in high school again. This is all happening. What advice would you give to your 14-year-old self?
So I had a weird career path. So I did economics university. First one of my family got university, so I had no idea what I was doing. Went to Sussex University, did economics, then became an economist. I was an economist for 4 years. Then went into consulting. Then went into journalism. Then went to agency, and now where I'm at now, right? So I've done a broad range of different jobs. I think the economics training helps me to think about efficiency and the use of my time and how, I've got that kind of numbers background, but then I've also got the ideas background as well. So bringing those two things together. The one bit of advice I would give myself now would be understand these tools, play around with them. It's free learning courses from like Google and all sorts online, right? So get stuck in and have a look at that. But I think as well as we move into an area or a time where AIs will replace or and not replace in terms of you've got 10 people, you replace with 10 people with AI. It could be 3 people to replace, right? Because as we move into that space, I think those soft skills become a lot more important. So ability to pitch, to sell, sales. There'll always be need for people with commercial mindset. To pitch, to present, to communicate ideas. Those are some of the things that I think are really valuable. So with students, for me, it's any chance you've got to present or pitch ideas, take it, learn from it. That's really important. And the commercial aspect as well. Everywhere I've gone in my career, I've demonstrated that I understand the commercials of the business. And I want to do great work, but ultimately we've got to make profit for our shareholders, right? And if you can bring in work and you can pitch and be commercially minded, then that is always kind of valued in the business. So long story short, I think dive into these AI tools, learn about them, but also think about those soft skills because those soft skills will become more and more important, I think, in the future.
Yeah. That's beautiful. And it's exactly, one of the learning outcomes and the qualification is communication.
Yeah.
And we frame that under tell me a story, make me care.
Yeah, 100%. And if you can have the best idea in the world. And if you can't communicate that to a client in the right way, visually, tonally, verbally, then you're not going to land it. We had some work our Dutch team did actually. It's called Road Tales, which is essentially it was a location-based audiobook. So kids can sit in the back of a car and listen to an audio story, and as their parents drive down the motorway, different physical things he brought into the story. So they passed the farm animals will come into the audiobook story, right? So location-based storytelling.
Wow.
Great piece of work. And I was like, how did you sell that in? And they said, well, we talked them through the idea, but just didn't quite get it. So what we did was the final time they came to our office, we picked them up in a car, a rented Volkswagen, and we drove up down the motorway and we faked the experience. And the client went, got it, completely get it. So the way in which you communicate ideas is vital because you only really selling big ideas, not really big ideas, a couple of times in your career, right? And you want to try and maximize the economics brain, maximize your potential, for every single idea that you put in front of a client. So
Beautiful.
communication's key.
Yeah. Well, listen, you absolutely have told a beautiful story, and I'm so, so grateful for you giving us your time. Really brilliant nuggets of insight. You're there, you're at the cutting edge of it, Alex. You're seeing it from lots of different perspectives, and I think what you've shared there, lots of golden threads for everyone who tunes in and listens to this.
Perfect.
On behalf of all the believers out there, thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Take care, Alex. I'll see you again. I'll just stop the recording.
Cool.